Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Australian heavyweight champion Justice Huni could be in line to fight the former cruiserweight champion MAIRIS Brieidis, who was also campaigned at heavyweight over the years, but more recently back at heavyweight, having just lost to Jai Opetaia not so long ago in Australia. So you can see here, this is the post from D&L Events. Dean Lonergan is the promoter there. Justice Huni in negotiations to fight Latvian monster MAIRIS Brieidis on October 29. So this is kind of interesting. It's a little bit random, a little bit out of the blue, but it also kind of makes a little bit of sense, and I'll explain why. But as you can see from the post, and I actually took a screenshot not so long after it went up, but I haven't managed to get to this video for a couple of days due to being busy with work and being pretty knackered afterwards. But a couple of people sort of questioning why. And someone else saying, best to fight a heavyweight. Yeah? Ain't no one trying to see him get effed by another Aussie. And I guess that some people will look at this and go, well, MAIRIS Brieidis is just coming off a loss. What's the value here for Justice Huni? And I guess I would say to that, I think why they're looking to do this is because MAIRIS Brieidis just fought Jai Opetaia. It was a rock'em sock'em back and forth affair where Brieidis put on a good display, but ultimately was outgunned through a 12-round decision. He fought back pretty late in that fight after Opetaia was racking up some rounds, and he really put on a credible performance. So I think that will be in the minds of Australian boxing fans, so he's a known quantity. And given the relationship, having just set up that Jai Opetaia fight, they obviously feel that they can get this fight done, get it made. And for Justice Huni, for this stage of his career, where he's at in his prospect phase, actually, it's a decent test, and it is a step up from some of the other recent competition. Just fought Joe Goodall, who himself was relatively untested. Obviously, we know a year ago fought Paul Gallen and beat him comfortably enough. But MAIRIS Brieidis is a different kettle of fish. He's no pushover. He will actually come to fight, and he does have skills. He can pop. He could probably hurt Justice Huni as well. There is, some risk about this, and you might be saying, well, if Brieidis, even sort of at this late stage in his career, what is he, 37 years old, why would they, even at this stage, if he's got too much left, why would they risk it with Huni at this stage of his development? Well, to put it simply, they're trying to make money off Justice Huni in Australia via pay-per-view. And some of Justice Huni's recent fights in New Zealand have also been on pay-per-view, like the Gallen one. So they're trying to clip the ticket, and it's very reminiscent of some of what they used to do with Joseph Parker, who was on pay-per-view in New Zealand and Australia in his early career, in actually, I'd say, mostly not very good fights. But this would be a real test. They're not matching Justice Huni soft. I mean, right from the beginning, he's had pretty decent fights from the get-go. Fought for the Australian heavyweight title, in his first fight. So he's had a certain level of opponent, but MAIRIS Brieidis is a step up, and it would be more of a tactical affair. And I think Brieidis would also fancy his chances here. And I guess with Justice Huni having recently been out for a year, there's still questions about inactivity, and he was actually in the Joe Goodall fight getting hit a lot. Quite a lot. Joe Goodall landed a number of shots, and Justice Huni just kept coming. Goodall, not a huge puncher, but MAIRIS Brieidis is, at least comparatively so, to Joe Goodall. He's not the biggest hitter, but, I mean, we do have that, was it 2014, absolutely sparked out Mahmoud Char. So people forget that MAIRIS Brieidis does have some pop. He can crack. He's a good boxer. Maybe he will fade in the fight. Maybe he will be behind on points, but he's going to keep coming. And if they make this fight and they get it done, it's not a gimme for Justice Huni by any stretch of the imagination. It's actually quite tough matchmaking. And you could also ask the question is, if they make this, are they putting the money, ahead of Justice Huni's development, where you may actually want to stretch out a few different fights before you came to a fight like this. And those questions about money ahead of Justice Huni's actual goals in the division and in the sport in general, they did come up in 2021. Remembering his goal was to go to the Olympics, but they ran him out every couple of months. He ended up injuring his hands, re-injuring, and ultimately couldn't go to the Olympics, so lost out on a chance to try to go for a medal, and he was definitely a medal prospect. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes and if this pans out, but if they make it, I think certainly it's a tough fight. Justice Huni may be the favourite here, but it's going to be a pretty even contest, I would say. Remembering as well, Justice Huni's not a big hitter, so I'm not seeing him blast out MAIRIS BRIEDIS or anything like that. Justice Huni is kind of going to be doing sort of what Joseph Parker's been doing once he sort of had a decent level in his career. He's going to be boxing to decisions. And MAIRIS BRIEDIS, I think on the boxing foot, the technical standpoint, he can foot it with Huni, but with BRIEDIS being older, can he keep up if Justice Huni is working at a good rate for round after round after round? And I guess that's the question. Boxing is, to a large extent, in the heavyweight division, can sometimes be a work rate sport where some of these guys just fade once the gas is gone. They've got a certain number of rounds, and that's all they've got to give. What do you make of this? I think it's intriguing, but also, is it the right time for this sort of fight? Let me know. Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.